Hello there, everyone, and welcome to my weekly Wednesday Live. I am actually only able to broadcast today on my YouTube channel because Facebook is having a moment. And so, one of the things that's so important to realize when this happens is that you do not want to build your business on someone else's land because they might put a do not trespass sign in front of you at some point. And I'm sure that Facebook will figure it out. But if you are joining me from YouTube, please say hello. Let me make sure that I open up my comments window so that I can see if you're there. Hello there. I can see that Lorraine is here. And I'm curious, Lorraine, are you actually on over on YouTube watching? I can't quite tell. Or were you able to find me on Facebook? Tell me in the comments because I did I did post a link to YouTube in both of the places that I normally tell you guys I'm live, both on my Facebook business page and also inside Anne's Art Club, our private community. And hopefully you've been able to find it, so you're joining me. So with no further ado, I'm going to jump into the conversation today, which is I'm wearing my jacket because I'm in my creative studio, which is in my garage, and it's cold in here. But today's topic is about Mocha Mousse. And if you haven't heard the news or you missed my blog post, Pantone, which is a color company, they every single year they announce the next year's color, and they always do it in December around the middle of the month. And so they just announced that Mocha Mousse is their color of the year for 2025. And Mocha Mousse, so I wrote my blog about it, of course, because I always want to tell you what's going on in the creative world. And so what's kind of interesting about it is, or what I'm curious about is, do you like it? Because it's brown. And so I wrote my blog about, let me see if my little cute things work. So if you go to AnneLaFolletteArt.com, which you guys must be familiar with by now, right? You can come to AnneLaFolletteArt.com, then click on the blog, and then you'll see that my blog is the Pantone Color of the Year, Mocha Mousse. And I wrote basically about the fact that my initial reaction was, really? Really? It's brown. But it's not just any brown, right? It's actually a very pretty warm brown. And it's so fascinating to see how people react to the color because a lot of people love it. A lot of people love it. And a lot of people, if you are out there, I don't have a lot of brown in my wardrobe. I actually am not a very brown person. I am much more of a colorful person. And no judgment, no judgment. It's just that I don't wear a lot of brown, but many people do. And certainly a lot of luxury items come in browns and beautiful browns, luxury handbags and luxury accessories and luxury scarves and sort of a camel kind of colored coat. So there's a lot in the world of fashion and also in cosmetics that's in the brown family. So you can totally understand why a lot of people would be drawn to it, and also why it could be a popular color for the year. But nevertheless, it's still brown. So that was my initial reaction. So tell me in the comments, like here on YouTube or on Facebook, just tell me, like, what was your initial reaction when you saw the announcement about it? And I sort of had to let it sit with me for a little while, right? It wasn't like I didn't have an immediate sort of, oh my gosh, I love this color and I want to use it all. I want to use it immediately in my work. And one of the things that I want to go back to in my blog post here, I'll do this again. At the bottom of my blog post, I recolored 3 of my designs. So you can see them here. There are 3 of them. And the first one here that is on the left is a menswear design. And here, I'm just going to make this a little bit bigger for you guys. It's a menswear design, and meaning that it could be for a tie or something like that, because it's a very, very small, which is what has a tendency to work in men's fashion, and maybe that would work as a tie. But to be honest, I would probably not buy my husband a brown tie. So I'll have to play around with other different color combinations. I added a little bit of a light blue because I wanted it to be a little bit more colorful than just sort of tone on tone like this one, like the one on the right. But and then in the middle, I had done this really pretty lantern pattern a while ago, sort of much more in an Asian colorway and Asian colorways, because it's a beautiful lantern and it kind of makes me think that I'm in a Chinese restaurant or an Asian restaurant, something like that. But I lightened up the brown in the background, and then I also added more of a pop of color, which is the darker blue, as contrast. And so I think that one kind of came out okay. And then this one's pretty, it's pretty, but again, I probably wouldn't, um, I wouldn't buy it. I wouldn't buy it. And so one of the things that is so important when you're actually in surface pattern design and you're creating your own artwork is that while it's very, very important to be aware of like what is the color of the year and what are current trends, you have to also make sure that those trends work for you personally in terms of what you're drawn to and kind of what you do best and how your art shows up in the world in a way that you are very proud of, and that if you saw it somewhere, you would be compelled to buy it, because that's the purchasing decision that someone else is making when they see your work, whether it's on fabric or it's on wrapping paper or it's on a notebook cover or something like that. And to be honest, I wouldn't buy any of those patterns that I just showed you, no matter what they were on. And because I'm going to be drawn much more to something that's colorful and that doesn't have so much brown in it. However, I'm super interested to see what you guys have to say. So Lorraine says, here, Lorraine, let me bring you up. It's like a hip beige. Yeah, it's like a hip beige. So I get it. I think that that's good. And who else commented in here? Anybody else? Let me know what you think in the comments. And I know that, Facebook was really glitchy, so if there are not very many of you who are here today, I totally understand. And guess what? You can watch the replay. So no big deal, right? No big deal. Okay, so the other thing that I mentioned when I wrote the blog post, though, was I did want to talk a little bit about the fact that the Pantone Color of the Year is also there's a lot that goes into choosing it, right? It's not random at all. It's very much sort of based not only on sort of, trends in general, but they also pick it because it's a reflection of kind of what's going on in the world of design. It's also a reflection of what's going on in the culture, and it is you're going to have an emotional reaction to it. You're either going to like it or you're not going to like it, but you're going to have a reaction one way or the other when the color gets announced. And so obviously my first initial reaction was really brown, but I totally understand as I read more articles about it that brown can be cozy, right? That you might have a brown blanket. We have a dark brown blanket that is very warm. We add as an extra blanket on our bed when it's the wintertime, but it's covered up by our duvet cover. It's not like I'm looking at that brown all the time. But there are applications that make a lot of sense. So I'm wondering, actually, I thought that I would go to the Pantone Color of the Year to show you just some of the different applications that people used that actually, I think, look quite pretty. And so Spoonflower actually did a collaboration with the Pantone Color of the Year. And let me see if I can find that. Let's see, Pantone and Spoonflower collaboration, Pantone Color of the Year. Let's see, because they actually had some, yeah, here we go. So let me share my screen again. You should be able to see this. So basically, I remember that I had seen this article about how Spoonflower and Pantone collaborated prior to the announcement of the Color of the Year, and so you can see over here on the right that there's some very pretty patterns that people created inside Spoonflower. And Spoonflower is let me click to see if I can make this image bigger. Don't know if I can make it bigger. So Spoonflower is a fantastic company where you upload your designs and then you can put it on all kinds of different products. And it's primarily a fabric resource, but they also have the ability for you to put it on tabletop items, on duvet covers, on sheets and towels, on a whole bunch of additional products, and wallpaper, and also wallpaper. And so if you see, if I come over here, we can go into, maybe let's go into, see if I can open up Pinterest. And I'm going to do this while I have you here live. Let's go into Pinterest. Here, I'm going to come back on here so that I can do this before we jump in there and see if there is, I'm going to go to, see, I'm in the search bar, I'm going to go to Mocha Mousse and see what comes up. And we can take a look at some really interesting designs that people are either searching for or what's already been created using Mocha Mousse. And I thought that would be really kind of fun to take a look at, to see, well, how are people interpreting the color, and what actually does it look like? But what you are going to notice, here, I'll show you. What you're going to notice is it's going to show a ton of food. So here, let me show you what so I basically just put Mocha Mousse in the search bar here on inside Pinterest. And so I can add Pantone. Let me add like Pantone Color of the Year, just to see if that shows up anything different. But essentially, so here, this is showing us a little bit of a few different things. But the prior, the prior board was basically just all food. And because brown is, well, first of all, chocolate mousse, it comes to mind immediately. And so anyway, I think it's really kind of fascinating. And I'm wondering also if, so here's a better picture of the Pantone Color of the Year and some of these beautiful designs. So these are beautiful. These are some artists that actually created initial designs using the Pantone Color of the Year that are on Spoonflower. And these are wallpaper designs, which I think are quite pretty. I still would never buy any of them. There's no way. I just would not buy any of those. Here is some beautiful fabric. Right? Here's some beautiful fabric. And these are pretty, really pretty. But again, it's just not my thing. Right? Brown is just not my thing. So I get the fact that it can feel very cozy, and it can also feel very luxurious. And I've seen some applications in the cosmetics world where a lot of the cosmetics packaging is using the Mocha Mousse color with also a pop of sort of green or a pop of some other contrasting color for some of the packaging. But it's just definitely not something that I find that I'm attracted to. Anyway, so that's the scoop. That's the scoop. I did talk a little bit more on the blog about, here, let me just go back to the fact that, browns are associated with dependability and resilience. And so in today's world where change is happening all the time, people are very stressed out. Right? You're feeling overwhelmed. We're all feeling overwhelmed all the time, and we need to stop watching the news because that's part of what creates a ton of stress in our lives. I think that there's an opportunity to want to kind of hide under the covers, and so maybe you're hiding under the covers and you have a brown coverlet, or you have a brown blanket, or you have something yummy that's brown and delicious and makes you feel comfortable, right? Cozy and warm and protected. So those are kind of the emotional side of the color potentially. And then I played around with some of my designs. And so the last thing I wanted to do today, because I thought it would be fun, I'd love your input on, I'm going to go to my Instagram profile, and maybe I just didn't pick the right designs to recolor. And of course, I have a bazillion designs on my Instagram page. And so maybe I just didn't pick good ones that I've done in the past to recolor into using the Pantone Color of the Year. And so I'm going to just scroll down. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm on my Instagram. And so if you're not following me, please go ahead and select click the blue follow button. I've been posting again, which is really, really fun. And then I let me scroll down, and oops, something went wrong. So this is just another example of how Facebook, which owns Instagram, is having a moment, right? It's having a moment. And this is such a great reminder that you can't rely on somebody else's platform all the time, which is why you have to have a website, right? And so you have to have your own website because you own the URL for your website. And just so long as there is an internet in the world, people will be able to find you, they'll be able to follow you, and they'll be able to purchase your programs or participate in what it is that you're doing. But you can't build your whole business on somebody else's platform, because today Instagram, because it's owned by Facebook, and also Facebook earlier today and continuing now, is not working properly. So in any event, it's a good reminder that you don't want to build your business on somebody else's land, right? Because that land could get glitchy. And so it's super important for you to have a website so that you can always send people to your website so that they know what's going on. And thankfully, I also have a YouTube channel, and so YouTube is working, and that's great. And so I've been able to talk to you guys live. Meta is having a bad day today. Exactly. Meta is having a bad day today. I see you, Lorraine. So Lorelei said, I love it. Anything that reminds me of chocolate can definitely work. So that's great. If that works for you, I love it. There's no reason, my opinion is not the only opinion. That's for sure, right? My opinion is definitely not the only opinion. And so, I love the fact that you like it, Lorelei. And then Annie said, let me make sure that I can see Annie's comment. She said, when creating a design in watercolor, how would I get my colors to be equal to the Pantone colors? So that is probably nearly impossible. And what I would do, actually, Annie, is that, and I got your email, by the way, no worries at all. Thank you so much for sending me an answer back about your membership in Anne's Atelier. When you are creating something in watercolor, you just need to use the colors that you want to use. And then when you bring them into Adobe Illustrator, you can recolor it, and you can put in the hex code for Mocha Mousse. You can also search different, you can use colors.adobe.com, which you know how to use, to see, well, what other colors are they coming up with that work with Mocha Mousse? And let's do that right now. But don't worry about trying to do it in the watercolor itself, because that's kind of impossible. Just create the watercolor that you want, and then bring that into Adobe Illustrator. You'll image trace it like I've taught you in the past, and then that's when you would change the colors to be in Pantone, and Pantone various tones that work with Mocha Mousse. Or let's go to colors.adobe.com, and let's see if I can get in there today. It could be that there's no S at the end. It could be that it's just color.adobe.com, which is why I'm getting a glitchy answer. Yeah, here we go. Okay. Let me make sure you guys can see what I'm doing. Alrighty. So what I did is this is a really great resource, and if you have an Adobe account and you've signed into your Adobe account, you notice up here on the right, I haven't signed in. This is a generic icon here, so I have to sign in to my own Adobe Illustrator account if I want to save colors that I like when I'm exploring here on the site. And so you can explore different themes. Right? And so they come up with sort of 5 colors that work really well together. And when you scroll over them, they expand so you can see them. And then you can also see trending colors, right? What are trending colors? I don't see Mocha Mousse in here anywhere. But you can also come to either create your colors, explore colors. See, I'm clicking along the top. Create, explore, trends, lab, libraries. So I'm going to click explore. And then I'm going to put in this search bar here. Let's see if they know if they have updated this already. Pantone Mocha Mousse. I think that's Mocha Mousse. And see what they come up with. here we go. So this is kind of fun. So one of the things I'm definitely noticing is that people are pairing it with the green, right? And so here's a beautiful image of food, right? Here's your close-up of a Mocha Mousse on a white table, bright luxury restaurant setting, background with cozy space. And then what's great about this is showing you the hex codes along the bottom. Do you notice? And so there are a bunch of different ways for you to save this color palette if you like it and you want to play around with it. Notice you can add it to your library. You can download it as an ASE file, which just means it's kind of downloading it so that you can then open it up in Adobe Illustrator. You can download it as a JPEG, and then, of course, you can place the JPEG on an Adobe Illustrator artboard, or you can just take a screenshot of it. And if you take a screenshot, then you can upload the screenshot into Adobe Illustrator, and then you can use your eyedropper tool to eyedrop each one of the colors. And then once you have all 5 colors, you know you want to add them into a folder in your Adobe Illustrator swatches panel so that you then have these 5 colors to play with. And I don't think this is exactly the Mocha Mousse color hex code. I think the hex code has a 7 in it. It's A7 something or other. You can look it up, but this is some close approximation because it's quite warm. But in any event, it can be very, very fun to go play with when there is a new color that's been announced by Pantone, to go see, well, what is it going to work with if you don't want to just do brown on brown, right? And so in my website, I did, it's also, today's the last day to sign up for my live virtual event. So if you haven't signed up for my live virtual event, it starts tomorrow. You can grab your ticket right here. It's 3 days worth of amazing content about how to grow a business online. Everything I've learned over the past 6 years. So you can grab your ticket there. But let me go back to the blog for just a second. And what I wanted to show you here is that I'm only really using 3 colors. I'm only using 2 colors in this one on the bottom. I'm only using 3 colors here because there's an off-white, kind of a nice creamy off-white. And then I'm using 3 colors here as well. But I didn't pick any of my older patterns that I could recolor. If I go to my Instagram profile again, let me see if it'll open up. Nope, sorry, something went wrong. Can't do it. So, all right, let me come back on screen. So, Annie, did that help you answer your question? Yeah, so Spoonflower is having a challenge right now to get everybody to use Mocha Mousse because they obviously are promoting it. And you're welcome to participate in it, right? It's great to participate in those challenges. You get a lot of practice and they give you directions on what you're supposed to do. So if we go to, let me go to Spoonflower Challenge, the weekly challenge. I'm curious as to what their, let's see, Artist Corner. Design challenges. I just want to read it really quickly so you can see, well, what are they asking you to actually do for the challenge? Pantone Color of the Year. Is this going to give me more information about it? Yeah, so let me share my screen again. So you can see that the Pantone Color of the Year Monochrome Wallpaper Design Challenge. So that means they have very few colors they want you to use for it. And it's Mocha Mousse. And so create a statement neutral wallpaper featuring Mocha Mousse. A natural and approachable color, Mocha Mousse expresses a level of luxe indulgence that is also grounded in its utilitarian neutrality. Wow, that's a mouthful. That's a mouthful of words. Envision your design on wallpaper where bold statement-making motifs are balanced for a mass market audience by the subtly sophisticated, limited color palette. So you have to make Mocha Mousse dominant in your design, or it has to be the dominant color, and then use 1 or more colors from Pantone's Relaxed Elegance palette, which is a versatile range of beige, cream, taupe, and brown tones. And then they give you all of the different colors you're allowed to use, the Relaxed Elegance palette. And it's kind of a bummer they don't show you what all these colors look like, but they give you all the hex codes. So you can go into Adobe Illustrator and then enter the hex codes 1 by 1 to create the color palette to see what it actually looks like. There's a cannoli cream, a couple of creams. There's a safari, which could be interesting. Here's the Mocha Mousse. and it does have a 7 in it. It's 47,864. Chanterelle, which is kind of like a mushroomy kind of color, then a Baltic amber, and a chocolate martini. Very interesting, right? Fantastic. All right, so let me come back on screen and let me say hello to Jean. I haven't seen Jean in ages and ages. So how are you, Jean? It's great to see you. And then I see, Annie, that you said, yep, I answered your question, so that's awesome. And I think that that's it for today, right? I don't want to keep you too long, that I definitely wanted to have a very fun conversation about the Pantone Color of the Year, to let me know if it's a thumbs up for you or not a thumbs up for you. And it's always, all opinions are welcome, no judgment. It's like all opinions are welcome. It's just kind of fun to know whether it's something that you're drawn to and it's going to help inspire you to do more surface pattern designs, or if it's something that you're maybe just going to incorporate here and there because it doesn't really float your boat. You know that I always like to say in closing that I am Anna Follett, and it's never too late to create. I start my 3-day event tomorrow, so if you haven't bought your ticket yet, let me just show you again where to go on my website to grab your ticket. And it's going to be an amazing, amazing, interactive, fabulous experience. I would love for you to be there. And if you go to my website and you just scroll down below the top image, you can grab your ticket right here. It's a virtual event. So one of the great things about a virtual event is you don't have to leave your house. You don't have to drive to it. You don't have to fly to it. You don't have to get a hotel for it. You can participate from the comfort of your own house and learn from me everything that I've learned over the past 6 years when I started my online business from scratch. So if you'd like to join us, there is still time to grab your ticket. It starts tomorrow morning. So click the grab your ticket here and enroll, and you will be all set. And I'll see you tomorrow morning. And if you're not going to join us, no worries. I will be back next Wednesday, as always. And hopefully Facebook will be back up and will not be quite so glitchy. And I will see you then. All right. Thank you so much, everyone. And bye for now.